astrologer, Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. This is your astrology horoscope for the full moon in Scorpio, which happens on Monday, April 26th, 2021 at 11:32 p.m. Eastern time or 8:32 p.m. Pacific time, depending upon which part of the country you're in. If you're in the United States, really which part of the world you're in, the times on that can change as well. Now, what I think this full moon is really all about is about us more fully stepping into a new, better, and blessed chapter in life that really arrived back in December, and seeing it more fully manifest, perhaps suddenly and unexpectedly, in the ways that it is that we need to propel us forward. Not only is it about that, but I think it's also about us making more decisions about all of these things once they do more fully happen. And I tend to like it a lot. I think that this is the full moon that's going to bring a lot of things that we've been waiting on or that have felt slow, more so to the surface to actually happen. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. If you want to hear more about that, please stay tuned because I'm going to hop into it right now. But before I actually explain what this full moon is about, I do like to place it on the chart first just so that you can see it and follow along with me. So I'm going to do that now. Okay. This video is for the full moon in Scorpio. A full moon regards the moon, so we have to see where that is. Here's the moon in this chart in Scorpio, and it's opposite the sun and really both Uranus, and I will probably also count Venus and Mercury in regards to that as well, which are all in Taurus. Okay, that when the moon opposes the sun, that's what makes a full moon a full moon. Now, what are full moons all about? Full moons, in my opinion, are all about us stepping into something I think that we've been trying to do for quite some time, especially in this case. Not only is it about that, but I think it's also about us as well, completing things too once we've stepped into them so that we can move forward, focusing on other things. All right, what are we stepping into at this time? Stepping into, taking as far as it can go, and then completing Scorpio. What is Scorpio about? Well, one of the things that Scorpio is about change, endings, and beginnings. So one thing that's going on at this full moon is that we are stepping into change. All right, and this isn't just little change. This is Scorpio change. Scorpio does deep, deep, deep transformational, big change in a lot of different areas of our lives, especially another point I should note in regards to relationships. Scorpio is a relationship sign, and money. Scorpio also has to do with that, especially now with all these planets in Taurus too. So to keep bringing it together, what I'll say is that at this full moon, we are stepping into big, deep, massive transformational change in so many areas of our lives, especially in regards to relationships and money. Why? Why is that now happening? Well, another thing about Scorpio is that it also has to do with our deepest wants and our deepest desires. It does rule our sex organs, which falls into the sign of Scorpio, which does have a lot to do with our desire. So I think that we are we're either making the change ourselves or the changes are happening to us. So we're experiencing this big, massive change in multiple parts of our lives so that we can live a life that we feel more deeply connected to. Scorpio, that we more deeply want and more deeply desire. Thank God. I like it. Okay. Another thing as well that I should also say about Scorpio is that it's also about karma in a lot of ways. Sure, so is Capricorn. Sure, and so is Saturn, which also factor prominently into this full moon. So sure, there are other things that are about karma other than Pluto, but Pluto, in my opinion, is one of those things as well. So another thing that I think is going on here to continue bringing it together is that we are at this full moon stepping into massive change and transformation within our own souls, but also externally in relationships and money so that we can create a life that we more deeply want, more deeply desire, and end, complete full moon, a time of karma. And in this instance, I'm using karma negatively. There is a good interpretation of karma, but I'm using so that we can end a time of negative karma, which I think persisted for the past few decades of our lives, especially the past few years, when we experienced a lot of trauma and a lot of abuse. Past few years, we're getting rid of that so that we can move on. Right? And I think that's it. I think that's all I want to say. Maybe I'll just, do I need to repeat that? Yeah, maybe I'll repeat that just one more time because I think that this is significant. This is, I will say, this feels very significant this full moon. Maybe before I repeat that, I'll say another thing. This full moon to me feels like it's, if there's been any blockages to your movement over the course of the past few months, okay, especially since December, which I'll talk about in a minute, this full moon to me feels like the clearing of the path, the clearing of the blockages that have kept you stuck from moving on so that now things can move forward. Like, other words that to me might also describe this full moon are tipping point, are fever pitch, are just unblocking blocks, unsticking what's been stuck. And this full moon in Scorpio to me, especially after a new moon in Aries 2 weeks ago, definitely feels like it is it. It is it. All right. So let me repeat that one more time. What I think is going on at this full moon in Scorpio is that we are stepping into massive change within our souls, but also externally within our relationships and our money, so that we can create more situations that we deeply want and deeply desire at this point in our lives and from here on out, and end a time of karma, bad karma, trauma, and abuse that may have persisted for the past few years prior to this time period. And this full moon is when more change starts to happen, especially anything that's been held up in the pipeline for the past few months, and hits more of a fever pitch and gets more things going in the ways that it is that we need. Okay, now why is this a thing that's coming up at this time to be talked about, worked through, happen in our lives? In order for me to tell you more about that, I'm now just going to go backwards for a minute to give you more of the context of how we got to this point and of why this is now a thing. And to go backwards, I'm going to go back to that last solar eclipse, because solar eclipses are a big deal, which happened last December of 2020, which was a new moon here at the last degrees of Sagittarius, right about here. What was that about? In my opinion, that new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius, which was about us stepping into a major, new, better, blessed chapter of life, away from all the hardship of the past few months and years prior to this point. And it was about us stepping into a new, better, blessed chapter of life that I believe is going to be with us for quite some time, and more exciting and more adventurous, and allow us to open our hearts more in a lot of ways. Okay, but even though that did occur, I strongly believe that did occur somewhere around December of last year, I do believe that we had problems more fully stepping into this new, better, and blessed chapter of life and seeing it manifest in the ways that we might like. That's because of the two new moons that came after that solar eclipse. It was a new moon in Capricorn, the middle of January 2021, and the new moon in Aquarius, the middle of February 2021, which were both hard. Okay, those two new moons brought blockages to the new chapter in life. Those blockages, in my opinion, were not necessarily anything external. They were more internal: self-sabotage, feelings of victimization, low self-esteem or self-worth, in a lot of ways, lack of faith, lack of belief that things are going to get better there, as well as maybe a few things from the past that were kind of gone, that we hadn't fully cut out in the ways that it is that we needed. But around that new moon in Pisces now, March of 2021, I believe that we finally were able to overcome those internal blockages and those things that were holding us back from this new chapter in life, and more fully heal from a lot of the abusive and traumatic times from the past. And because we are able to more fully heal and fix those things, stopping the new blessed chapter of life from coming in at that last new moon 2 weeks ago, Aries, April 2021, we finally saw things get going here. We finally saw this new chapter in life that came in December pick up more speed, more the pace, or start to show itself in more real ways, more fully, in order to get going. And this full moon in Scorpio, I think, adds more gas to the new chapter in life, adds more momentum to the new chapter in life, to make it more and more fully, deeply, truly real happen in the ways that it is that we need. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna say there in terms of the context. Again, just to repeat that, what I think is going on at this full moon in Scorpio is that we are seeing more deeply, more fully, this new chapter in life that has been here since December of 2020, but been delayed. We're more fully seeing that new, better, blessed chapter of life manifest in real ways to actually be a thing. And we're seeing more of the pieces of the puzzle that have been missing, that have been delayed, or that have been slow, finally come together, especially with relationships, especially with money, in order for us to move on. Okay. And I think that's what I'll say there. You know, I'm like, is this a big full moon or is it not? You know, to be honest with you, I don't know if there's like it is a big full moon because it is like square Saturn, which we'll talk about in a minute, and it is opposite Uranus. So it is like a big full moon in some way. But even though it's like kind of a big full moon, I don't know. You know, I'm feeling like the big thing about this full moon is not necessarily the full moon itself. It's about everything that we've done prior to this full moon that's been like kept in and held in, that now is coming out. You know, like it's just that when I was preparing for this video or thinking about on this full moon, I think the phrases that came to me was no holding back, like no holds barred. So there's something about this full moon and Scorpio, especially because Scorpio is a Mars ruled sign, and so was Aries, where we had that new moon 2 weeks ago, that now is just like everything you've been waiting for is now here or coming, and the floodgates are going to open and things are going to get moving in ways that you need. All right. Now that I've talked about that, let me give you more detail about this full moon itself and talk about the aspects that it's making. The first aspect that I want to talk about is going to be this opposition that the moon here is making to Uranus and Taurus while it's making a conjunction here, about to make a conjunction with the sun. What is that about? Uranus is the planet of the sudden and the unexpected. So what that means to me is that this more change that I keep talking about, this more, deeper, bigger change to make a new chapter in life finally manifest in real ways, may come suddenly and unexpectedly. You may not even think it's happening. You may think, oh, I'm missing my blessings. I'm missing this new chapter in life. Things aren't working out. You know, nothing's going on. And then suddenly and unexpectedly, something could happen in the days before, but especially after, because the sun hasn't really conjuncted Uranus yet, after this full moon, to really kick more things into gear and to get them going. This could be a sudden and unexpected thing that maybe you do. Maybe this is a sudden and unexpected thing that you realize you need to change, you need to initiate, you need to make happen with relationships or with money in order to bring things together. If it's not something that you feel you need to do, it could also be something that happens to you, something that happens to you that someone else does to you suddenly, unexpectedly. It could be a sudden unexpected raise with the Taurus influence, or job change, you know, or something with a relationship that comes on in some way to get this moving. Okay. This doesn't really say whether or not you're doing the unexpected thing or whether or not it's happening to you. It can be both. It could be either. It's for you to decide. It's just that something sudden and unexpected here is happening to get things moving here, especially if they felt slow or stuck, and to bring more things together. Okay. Another thing that I want to also say about this opposition and conjunction to Uranus here is that to me, it looks like a good thing. This is a good unexpected thing, a good unexpected turnaround. Just when you thought nothing was going on here, it's a good unexpected turnaround. Why do I think this is good? Because this is a mutual reception between the moon and Uranus, and because Venus is very, very close by. Okay, what is a mutual reception? It's when you get two planets that are making a significant aspect to each other, and when both of those planets are in signs that they do not like to be in, but that the other planet likes. Okay, and we've got the moon here in Scorpio. It does not like to be in Scorpio. The moon doesn't like to be in Scorpio because the emotions are like intensified to like the 500th degree, and it's hard to get anything done when your emotions are so intense. And Uranus doesn't like to be in Taurus because Uranus likes to mix things up suddenly and unexpectedly. And it's hard to mix things up suddenly and unexpectedly when you're Taurus, trying to keep things stable and steady on a set track and secure. So they don't like to be in these signs, but they do like to be opposite. The moon likes to be in Taurus, sensual, homey, nurturing. Uranus likes to be in Scorpio, crazy, change. So because both of these planets are in signs they don't like to be in, but they're connecting to each other, they then say, hey, let's work together, right? Like, I don't want to be here. You don't want to be there. Like, let's switch places, and they function better that way. They help each other. Also, Venus is in Taurus now, its home sign, where it likes to be in. And when planets are in their home sign, they also function much better as well. Okay. So those are two reasons, in my opinion, why something sudden and unexpected, I believe, is going to come at this full moon, possibly the days before, but especially the days after. That's going to be very good. That's going to unexpectedly turn things around in a positive direction to get you on some new chapter in life after you didn't think it was happening or going to happen, perhaps over the course of the past few weeks and months. That I do like to help you get into this new chapter and make it more of what you want and desire and more fully connect to it. Okay, I like it. Yeah, I like it. This, to me, I'm not gonna lie, feels like some people getting raises, or definitely job changes. I know I said that, or promotions. This is a very good full moon for finances. I'm not gonna lie, because both Taurus and Scorpio are financial, or if there's been some recent financial loss, for some of you, this is a very good boost to help you get like some money that you need in order to like make ends meet. So this is very good. If some of you aren't getting like permanent raises or like promotions, then some of you could just be getting like that little bit of help that you need to like make ends meet, to pay rent, which is like a blessing. It's a good thing, very, very good. Or to find some kind of financial source, perhaps with a business or otherwise, it's going to allow you to move forward. Okay, if this isn't that, this to me also feels like relationship stuff. Could be like the formation of a relationship too, in a more stable, secure way with less codependency with the Taurus influence there. Could also be that. Or if it's not like a new relationship forming, it could be like an old relationship that you've been working on for quite some time that gets fixed, if you will, in a much better way. And whatever that means for you, right? And sometimes fixing a relationship means ending one. Sometimes fixing one means, but it does feel like our old relationship issue could get fixed, and could get fixed in an amicable way. Like, this to me doesn't look like arguments, anger. If there is the ending of a relationship, to me, it feels like there's an understanding between two people of like, yeah, you're right. Like, this probably needs to happen, and the writing's been on the wall. Like, it's been going this way for a while. So I see it more like that. Okay. Now, after this unexpected thing, or maybe even before, maybe it's not a chronology. Maybe it's all happening together. There's another thing that's going on at this full moon in Scorpio. It is making a square over here to Saturn, right? Which is in Aquarius. Because this full moon is at 7 degrees. It's close enough for me. I use pretty wide orbs. I'm not going to lie. That's close enough to me to be this full moon squaring Saturn. What is that about? Well, Saturn has a lot to do with decisions and commitments. Okay. So what this means to me is that there are a lot of decisions and commitments around this unexpected event that I think are both, as I'm feeling into it, that I think may come up before the unexpected thing happens, and may also come up after the unexpected change to get us on some better path more fully occurs. Okay, what are these decisions about? I think these decisions are about, if we're doing something unexpected ourselves with money and relationships, it's a decision to do the unexpected thing, especially if we think it's going to be better for us. If it's not a decision to get the courage up to do the unexpected thing that's going to be better for our future, that we need to bring things together, then this also to me is a decision once the unexpected thing has occurred, about your future with it, and about where it's going to go, and about what your steps are to move it forward in a better way that it is that you need. All right. So this isn't just, to bring it more together, this isn't just a really good unexpected thing that comes up in relationships and money and with yourself to get you on some new path and some new journey in life more fully, that you just like ride the wave with. This is an unexpected thing that comes up and then requires a decision. To make a decision before for some of you, and to make a decision after for some of you, for both, for others of you, about where this new money source goes, and this new relationship goes, or this better relationship stuff, and how it's going to work out over time. Like, what is, I don't know if I quite want to say like, what is the plan? Because we are in a more like surrendered, like spiritual, like go with the flow type of energy. But I don't know, I am getting this sense of like, there is something, there is some kind of conversation here that does need to be had, decisions about like what's next, right? Now that things are here, like where does this go and what does this look like so that it can be the best that it can be? Especially with Pluto stationing to go retrograde the day after this full moon, right here in Capricorn, Saturn's sign. Saturn and Capricorn are related. And so is Aquarius to Saturn, but also Capricorn, okay? So there's a lot of decisions that we're having to make. Pluto to permanently, lock Capricorn, lock in these good things, you know? So that's like a big key point here with both of these things happening together. It's not just fun, unexpected good things. It's fun, unexpected good things here requiring serious decisions and commitments now about what's next and what you're willing to give and what you aren't, and how things are going to work so that this new chapter can be locked in. These blessings can be locked in. I've been telling you all for a while, if you've been watching some of my videos, like what's happening right now in the astrology is like very destined and very fated. I mean, whatever's going on in your life has to do with your destiny, has to do with your fate. And I do believe was predetermined before we were born for almost all of us, because this time in the astrology is just so massive. And this full moon is what's going to lock that in, and it's going to keep this new chapter in life with you for many years. I do believe that many years and decades down the road, especially after Saturn and Pluto came conjunct all last year. So these decisions that we're making about these unexpected stuff is really to lock these blessings in and make them more permanent. Sure, there may be more of a journey with these things that we're locking in. There may be more of a journey to like get some of the things right and get the groove right and figure things out. Like there's always a constant recalibration in life, especially when you've got the North Node in Gemini, you know, of like what these things will look like and of how you move forward on them. That's going to need to happen over time. But there is something about these decisions that we're making at this full moon that are going to be permanent in some way or lock something into our life that I think is quite good. That's going to be a major part of our story from here on out. I mean, yeah, that's all I can say. Okay. Could this decision be hard to make? Maybe I should say that. Sure. Right? It's Saturn that's involved. This is a square to Saturn, right? I mean, the moon is in Scorpio, really intense sign. Pluto is in Capricorn. So stationing. So could these decisions that we're having to make to do something unexpected or to take something unexpected and figure out where it's going to go next? Sure, these decisions can be hard to make, especially if the rest of your life is on the line or like the next few decades, right? There's a lot of this, like, what am I about to do? Like, what am I about to do? What am I about to start? Where are things going to go? But even though these decisions may feel very heavy, may feel very serious, to me, this is a very constructive heaviness. This is a constructive seriousness. Not all hard decisions are bad. You know, this is a very constructive heaviness to help us really get more in touch of what we want and to make things just better from here on out. Okay. And that then leads to the next thing. I think the last thing probably that I'll talk about here. Venus and Mercury are in a conjunction with each other and very close to this full moon at the time that it happens, you know, close to the sun. And here's Venus and Mercury. And what is that about? Well, when planets conjunct each other, they do start new cycles here. What new cycle is starting? Mercury has a lot to do with the way that we think and communicate. Venus has a lot to do about ourselves, our relationships, our money, and our own sense of self-worth. So what that means to me is that because of what's going on here, these unexpected changes plunging us more fully into this different chapter of life that we're having to make decisions about, our beliefs. I'm feeling beliefs here, especially after the solar eclipse in Sagittarius. Our beliefs and our mindset is changing and upgrading to one of what? Worthiness, Taurus, abundance, Taurus, confidence, Taurus. It's changing so that we're now realizing that we're worthy of good things, that we're worthy of good things, that we've worked hard for good things, and that good things are meant to happen to us from here on out. Okay. And again, I wish I could give you like a progression. I wish I could give you like, this happens first, this happens second, this happens third, but I'm feeling like it all happens together. Like, you know, in a variety of different ways for a lot of us. So what happens first for some of us is that we believe we're worthy of abundance, we're worthy of gifts, we're worthy of blessings, and then we make a decision to do something unexpected with ourselves, with our relationships, and with our money to create a life that it is that we want, then we get that thing that we want suddenly and unexpectedly and have to make more decisions about how we go forward with this unexpected good thing to lock it in, to lock the blessing in more over time. And then once we make that decision to move forward to lock in the blessings, we then feel even more abundant and feel even more worthy to receive good things into our lives with ourselves, relationships, and money from here on out. So it could happen like that. And maybe for some of you, it'll happen a different way. Maybe some of you don't have decisions to make per se, but other people have decisions to make for you, to do things with you, and for things to work out with you that you need. So maybe at the beginning of this full moon, there's no decisions for you, and you're not feeling that great. And then something sudden and unexpected happens that requires you to make a decision and to be worthy, to feel more able to receive and be worthy of abundance from here on out, and to see things in a more positive light as well. So it could happen in a few different ways, or maybe some of you go into this full moon feeling down and having to make a decision that you feel down about and not knowing what to make, and then just making a decision based off intuition suddenly and unexpectedly, and then it turning out pretty good, and then you feeling abundant. So, I wish I could tell you a formation of how this might go, but I think it's all happening at once, and that a lot of us are going to get it in a lot of different ways here. But the point is that regardless of the time frame, the timeline, the chronology of events, there is something very sudden and unexpectedly good going on here to plunge us more fully into some new chapter in life that I think has been trying to come for quite some time. And the unexpected event is going to require decisions, big decisions for you to make to lock these things in more permanently to be with you for the next few months, years, and decades. And that you need to have an abundant mindset that allows you to receive these good things so that you can move forward. Okay. Because that's a lot, that's a big point. That's a big deal, that they're definitely in my life, I've encountered some people who don't feel worthy of good things, and therefore stop the blessings from coming because they don't feel like it's meant for them, like a good thing is meant to happen to them. So, be aware of that, and know that you are worthy of good things, and that now is a time for that, and to get with it. Okay. Because things are good. Things are good. And I like this. And I think this is what we've been waiting for. All right. And I think that's really all that I have to say about this full moon in Scorpio. Any other points? Yeah. What do I want to say? Well, maybe there's one other thing I'll mention. Mars just recently moved into Cancer as well. Mars doesn't like to be in Cancer, but I like it this instance, this time in the astrology for various reasons. I mean, especially because this time in the astrology is about us learning to do things we don't do naturally, to do them differently. And Mars isn't a sign it's not natural in. So to me, it kind of goes with what's going on in the astrology. So I like it. I'm going to interpret it positively. In what way is this positive? To me, Cancer is about settling into something, since it is the sign of home and family, settling down, settling in, making something more cozy, especially with all the Taurus influence, and more comfortable. So what this means to me, to add the last piece before I move on, is that whatever unexpected change comes up during this time period that is going to be good, that's going to require some decisions about, that we're going to have to be open to make in a positive way, that once we do all of that, once all of that happens, then it's time to settle down, settle into these things that we're deciding, to get more comfortable with them, to nurture them, Cancer, to get used to them, and to really care for them in the ways that they need, so that they can grow, so that they can have all the nutrients and all the stuff to grow over time in the best way possible. Okay, so once we get these things and make the decisions, just to clarify, it's not like, let me do even 500 more things. It's like, let me just get used to it and love it and be okay with it. All right. And that's it. Any other thoughts? I do have a thought. Yeah, normally I have a metaphor that I'll say right now. I just don't have one. I just don't. I don't have one. But the thought that I do want to linger on is the timing of things. Over the course of the past few months, if you've been watching my videos since that solar eclipse in Sagittarius in December, and really even since with the new moon in Libra, I believe like last October, November, I've talked about things happening fast. I'm like, things are going to happen fast in between December and April, right? That's what I said. I said December and April, and it's now April. I'm like, things are going to happen fast and things in your life are going to turn around. And I have to be honest, fast is not the word I would use to describe the past like 6, 7, 8 months of my life in a lot of ways. It doesn't feel that way. And I know that a lot of you in the comments have also mentioned that to me as well. Like, I don't know, things have been hitting fast and slow. What is it? Stop and go, fast and slow, and I will say, I do feel like this full moon in Scorpio is going to correct any challenges with speed that we may have felt over the course of the past few months, and correct any challenges with timing, with the time being right. Is the time right to do this thing, to buy this home, to spend this money, to get this raise, to talk to this person? Like, I do feel like this full moon in Scorpio is going to correct and fix a lot of challenges that have happened with that. And it's going to get things moving. All right. But the thing that I want to say about that is the reason why things, in my opinion, are going to get moving at this time is because of what has happened over the course of the past 6 months or so, since like October and December of last year. Like, the reason why things are going to get moving is because of what we've done. And not only is it going to get moving because of what we've done in the past, but just because of what's happened, like, maybe it'll help describe some of my process. Like, I felt like things weren't going as fast, especially around that new moon in Capricorn, which was like a really tough one in January. Like, I'm like, something's going on here. And I'm not going to lie, that was really confusing to me of like, what is happening? We had in January of this past year, we had all planets direct, right? Like, that's very rare in the astrology to have all planets direct. Like, none were retrograde, and they're still all direct until tomorrow, till the day after this full moon, when Pluto's going to go retrograde. And I was like, it is so strange to have in January of 2021 all planets direct and still some slowness going on, like still some slowness, still just some things not being quite right in the ways that they were. And that was really concerning to me, because I was like, why is this happening? And I think the way that like I ended up being at peace with it, perhaps like a few months ago, is the fact that we had Neptune square the nodes for quite some time, right? Like, even though all planets were direct in January, Neptune was square the nodes. And now the nodes have moved on. I mean, they're 10 degrees away. They've moved on. They're not squaring Neptune anymore, but they were lingering there in between like October and March, October and last month, like in orb, in a way that I would think. So the way that I made sense to me around January is this: things are moving fast. It's just, we can't see it. It's obscured. Neptune brings haziness. It brings confusion. It brings like a veil of fog or of haze. And so that's what I feel, that things actually have been moving the past 6, 7 months of our lives, moving pretty quickly, just in ways we couldn't see, just in ways that were behind the surface. This could have been, for some of you, subconscious. Things have really been moving subconsciously, perhaps in ways that you couldn't see, or maybe there's someone else or something else that you've been trying to do, like a person you've been trying to connect with, or a job that you've been trying to get that's just had a lot of stuff going on. And I feel like even if it's felt slow, there's been a lot going on with yourself or with other people and things behind the scenes that now are starting to happen. So in my opinion, if anything is occurring quickly at this full moon in Scorpio, which I do think it is, it's because of the past. It's not because of, It's because of the past. Like, that's all I can say. It's because of the work that we've done in the past that either was hidden to you, or that was private, or that you couldn't see, that now all of a sudden is revealed. And because there was a lot of work going on over the course of the past 6 months that you can't see, now things move fast. Now things move very, very fast in order to bring them together. But it moves fast because, like, the groundwork has already been done, like the groundwork has already been done, and now things become more formed. I can't really say, to be honest, like, how fast things are going to happen after this point, especially because I've been hit or miss with the way things have been prior to this point. So I can't really say that, especially too, because a bunch of planets are now about to go retrograde. Okay, now, when it was starting with Pluto, and over the course of the next few months, really until August, September, October. So I really don't know what to say about how fast things are going to go after this point. But what I do know is that something is going to happen very quickly around this full moon itself, within the days before or the days after, maybe even a week, 2, 3, or 4 after. That is going to be very fast, very solid to help you move forward. All right. And that once that thing happens very quickly, which is really a result of what we've done the past 6 or 7 months behind the scenes that's now being revealed, then we're going to have to settle in with this thing, and things are going to be easier. And if things feel fast after this unexpected thing happens, it's only because of the work we've done in the past, and because they're just getting easier now. Life is just getting easier because of what we've previously done. All right. So that's that. I mean, that's that, right? Things are going to happen. Big, unexpected, sudden changes happening very quickly at that full moon in Scorpio to force anything that's been stuck over the course of the past 6 months, or that's been private that you couldn't see, into the light of day. Into the light of day. Full moons illuminate things. Taurus, to me, has a lot to do with light, into the light, to finally be seen and to work with and maneuvered. Okay. Because I do feel like, yeah, there's just been a lot of things that have been hidden. Other ways this could go, like, I do. I feel like a lot of things have just been hidden, and this full moon is like exposing it all, getting it moving, no holding back. Okay. What that means to me, maybe to give some more context to that before I read the inside degree, is that some of you may have felt nothing at all going on over the past 6 months, just like silence, static, radio silence, and that something crazy may happen at this full moon to make you realize that, like, something really was going on all that time, and that things are coming together. Okay, some of you have not been experiencing silence, or just some of you have had some things happening, but not a lot of things happening. And if that's been the case, then this full moon in Scorpio is going to make more things happen more fully in order for you to move on. Okay. Some of you, I should also note, to give maybe a third way this could go, some of you have been having a lot of things happening, perhaps, and this full moon in Scorpio is going to help you finish and step into those things so that you can move on. Could go in a variety of different ways, but really the point here is that something big is going on to push you into this stuff that we've been wanting to do for quite some time, or hesitating to do, or that's been confusing and hazy, so that it can happen now and become a thing to be worked with. And positive ways to set us up the best for the next chapter in life that's now here. Your inside degree, let's read that. The full moon is at 7 degrees Scorpio, so we're going to read that one. I just go intuitively off of these. I know there's lots of rules, about how these should be read. I just read whatever I want to read. It's my channel. It's my intuition. I read what I want to read, whatever I feel called to. And this is it. Plus, I read a lot of these other degrees before and after in my other videos on my website. Okay. 7 degrees Scorpio, got it on this screen. It says tumultuous changes, hanging on to previous identities, ego fragments, and the shrapnel of personal illusion. You are plunged into a karmic process that exposes what is real and what is not, yet harbors such intense old places inside that it takes massive overhaul to get anywhere. So what does this mean to me? Big change, think I already said that, happening at this time here, to expose us to what is real and to what is not, in our lives, and what is happening. Like that's another line that expresses the illumination, that exposes us to what has really been going on for the past 6 to 7 months in our lives, or what has not, so that we can get going. Okay, this inside degree, I will say, does seem a bit more negative than my feeling about this full moon, because this full moon is opposite, right? It's mutual reception, all other things. So even though this inside degree does talk a lot about hanging on to previous identities, ego fragments, and intense old places, I think that we're overcoming that pretty quickly, that there's a big change happening at this full moon that exposes to us what's really been going on the past few months of our lives, and what's really next in this new chapter in life to make it more fully happen. And that helps us pretty quickly to let go of the old identity, let go of the old ego, let go of any shrapnel of personal illusion about ourselves and our situations, so that we can move on. Okay, but even though I do feel like this full moon does illuminate a lot and release us from a lot of old things, I do feel as though it does feel massive. It feels scary. Like even though we are willing, I think, at this full moon to release the old identities and ego stuff, I think it does feel massive, like a very big, scary wave at the same time. But sometimes fear is a good thing, right? Like, you have to keep that in mind. Sometimes decisions are a bad thing. Hard decisions are a bad thing. Sometimes, like, fear is a bad thing. In this case, it's a good thing. These are hard decisions that are going to lead to good things. This is fear with like a tinge of like anxious excitement, especially with the Uranus influence. This is fear of like with anxious excitement, like, got to take a risk, got to go for it, got to do it. Got to take a risk. For some of you, on whim, on intuition, it's going to work. It's going to work. Forcing yourself up against a brutally harsh karmic path of exceedingly rough. That's been what we've been through. That is not now. That is the past. Okay, and we've been doing that for months. This full moon and just all this stuff is like the releasing of the old. It's releasing of the old and the old hardship, and it's new things coming in. We can look at Taurus. Maybe let's look at Taurus 7 degrees for a minute. I didn't look at that one beforehand, but why not? A beautiful dream that comes. Uranus stationed here. That's funny. I remember reading this. Uranus stationed here at this degree last year, the year before. I think it was the year before, 2019. A beautiful dream that comes true. Conceiving in your heart that a fresh life current is here to be met. This is what I feel. This is the way I feel this is going to go. Being magnetized to the spot where the new earth arises. Sure. There's a lot at this full moon, a lot of death of the old, the old identity and things like that, and massive scary changes that are going to push us onwards. But this is what it's going to reveal. A beautiful dream that comes true, a fresh life current, the new earth arising, giving yourself completely to the new life, sensing acutely what's going on, what counts. Yep. Oh, I love this. Knowing how hard it is to feel dejected and forsaken, and never forgetting the ache, the longing, the distances. Yeah, not only is this like a new chapter in life now, more fully arising, a dream that finally comes true, that's being revealed, but it's also with the realization and the sensitivity and the appreciation for all of the challenges of the past too, and like a gratitude for our struggles and kindness of sorts. So I don't know, that's how I'm feeling about it. Maybe just to repeat while I shuffle your card, what I think is going on at this full moon is that something really sudden and unexpected and a very good way is occurring to get all your blessings that have been blocked in the pipeline since December of 2020 at that new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius finally going and finally here, and for us to finally see them for what they really truly are as a result of all our hard work. Which in a lot of ways is going to manifest with relationships and money, and us seeing these good things finally manifest is going to require us to make some decisions about our future and what we want to do next with them. Those decisions could feel big and could feel heavy, but are going to be very, very good to lock in these blessings more permanently in with us for the next few years and decades of our lives. And we need to adjust our mindset here to be open to receive these blessings and to realize that we are abundant and that life is going to be abundant from here on out. And us experiencing these changes are then going to lead to a beautiful dream that comes true, a current fresh life a fresh life current that's going to be here for us to move forward and to create something much better that I like. So I think that's it. Your card for this time period is the Page of Swords upright. Ooh. Page of Swords, man, bring in some truth. Bring in some truth. Like, I know I've said this before in this video, but I'm just feeling like something's going to be revealed. Some truths are going to be revealed that have just been hazy and confusing over the course of the past few months. Okay. However, I should note this is a page, right? And pages are a younger energy. They're usually kids. So what this means to me is that even though some truths I do think are going to unexpectedly be revealed to help you more fully step into a new chapter in life, they may not come gracefully. They may not come gracefully. They may come a little shaky, or they may start out as a soft voice. They may start out as a soft voice and then get bigger in some way, or they may start out shaky, but they're coming, and they're like, the other word that I got is like a disguise. They're disguised. Like there's not only is there's something that's being revealed at this time in a big way at this full moon in Scorpio, but it may look one way and it's actually going to be another. Like I don't know why the Page of Swords made me think of a disguise, but I get the sense that on the surface, like not only this to me goes two ways, that not only are we going to is something going to be revealed at this full moon that's going to be the opposite of like what we actually thought was going on over the course of the past few months, or if not the opposite, just bring more good things to us, but that even the thing that's revealed now is not going to quite look like what it's eventually going to become. I know that's like a bunch of little caveats, but I'm getting that it's both. The past hasn't fully looked like what it actually is, and whatever comes now isn't going to be what it actually is either. It's going to be a shyer, smaller version that's going to transform into what's it, like a big thing, like a gigantic thing in your life that's going to be with you for quite some time. So realize that things were not what they seemed over the course of the past few months. They're much better than that. If anything's been delayed over the course of the past few months for you, it's been because it's something even better is now come together. Okay. Not only is this saying that the things in the past were not what they seem, but right, even the things now are not quite what they seem. They're even better. It's like, the gift that keeps on giving. Even the good things that come to you now are going to blossom into even better things after this. Okay. Another thing that this also says to me too is to not judge a book by its cover, right? Like if the things that are happening to you, like if the things that are happening to you now are good, but there's still more, don't judge them. Let things unfold. Like let things unfold naturally as well, is also a message here. Let things unfold naturally. The card at the bottom of the deck is the Emperor reversed, and release control. The Emperor reversed is like, stop trying to control situations. I mean, it's very hard to control situations when you get Uranus involved. So truth is coming in fast here, to really right some wrongs from the past and to give you the understanding of what you couldn't see before. And not only is truth coming in fast here with this page, like ready to fight, but it's coming in differently as well, in a very different way than you might have thought it would come. That's only the beginning of other things. Don't judge a book by its cover. Go with the flow. Stop trying to control here as things move forward. you know, because trying to control things is going to stop the flow, may stop some of the blessings, may make things harder, and there's no reason for that, you know. Sometimes the best way to organize things when they come together is to not organize them at the beginning, like on the front end, but to organize them from the back. You know, so that's the feeling that I'm getting here. Like, let everything happen and come out. Let everything come out in the way that it needs. And then once it comes out, then after it all, try to organize and structure things, not beforehand. So release the control, and then down the line, a few weeks and months from now, then try to bring some more structure to it. Perhaps in December, when Venus goes retrograde in Capricorn on Pluto, right around there. Okay. Yeah, we've got the Queen of Cups reversed next. I am also getting, like, especially because Scorpio is a very emotional sign where the full moon is not only release control, but like be open, be honest, and like don't be afraid to be vulnerable and to be emotional and to kind of like let your sensitivity show and to like let people in as well. So when these unexpected things come very quickly at this time, even if they don't appear in quite the way that you thought they would, although they're still good, stop trying to control them and be very open, honest, and vulnerable and emotional. Like, don't be afraid to be emotional and to let your soul show, especially with Mars and Cancer, as these things come together, because that's going to be what's going to bring the chaos into order. That's what's going to do it. And maybe it's a little bit counterintuitive. Maybe some of you are like, oh, in order for me to organize crazy things, I have to structure, I have to plan, I have to control. But it's the opposite. Like, in order for you to organize this chaos that's going to happen during this time period, you have to let go. You have to let go. You have to surrender. You have to be honest. You have to be vulnerable. You have to kind of be emotional or more soulful in some way. And then that is ironically going to bring the control or bring the order after all of that, in order for things to move on. So I don't know. I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you on the next one.